The Property Practitioner's Bill suggests that home inspections, among other things, become a standard part in the home buying process. I spoke to Durban-based home inspector Eric Bell on his interpretation of this bill. Eric, welcome to All About Property.
Thanks, Cornelius. It's good to be here.
Now, tell me, what exactly is the Property Practitioner's Bill?
The Property Practitioner's Bill is a new bill that's been implemented to try and safeguard the consumer and also to protect the property practitioners within the Act. What it means to the home buyer is that the home buyer can have peace of mind, and the fact that full disclosure of the property is made, and that importantly that the people that they're dealing with, in other words the realtors, are bona fide and they are actually all regulated.
Let's talk about home inspections, because this bill suggests that home inspections become part of the home buying process. What are your thoughts on that?
When you read the new bill, they refer to the fact that property practitioners and estate agents, etc., are responsible for the properties that they sell. So if they sell a property that has defects, then recourse can be made against them. This is a serious thing because there's a lot of houses that are sold where they are defective, and under the old dispensation, the houses got sold without disclosure. And even if the person that is selling the house does make full disclosure, he may not know the defects.
So are you saying that if there should ever be a dispute after the fact, that disclosure document would not hold?
I believe not. You can't, I mean, the disclosure documents that came out after the Act said at the top of it, in most cases, this is a true and honest evaluation of the property as I know it. Well, that's a crazy sentence, because you can't say as I know it, because after you'd say, well, I didn't know it. And that's the problem with it. And that's what happened with disclosure documents. That's why a lot of agents are not using disclosure documents now, and they've gone back to the footsteps clause, etc. But they don't, you can't actually ask people to sign a disclosure document and then waive the disclosure document in the face of the buyer, because that doesn't work.
What can a home buyer do to protect himself from buying a property with defects?
Essentially, the only way you can do that is to have the house thoroughly inspected before you buy it. That makes the most sense. I mean, the cost of an inspection is minimal, of a few thousand rand. You're buying a house for $1 million, even 500,000 or 600,000 rand. It's a small amount of money for the peace of mind that you would get from having it inspected. When you buy a second-hand motor car, you're quite happy to take it to the AA or take it to your local garage and have it checked out, because that's the sensible thing to do. People go and spend millions of rand on houses without knowing the true condition, trusting the people that sell them. That's crazy.
Now, for the person who have already bought a property and only after it's registered he realizes that there are defects to the property, is there any recourse for that person?
So how you overcome this would be to call us in, call an inspection company in, to actually check the house out and find out if these are latent defects, because patent defects are cosmetic ones, but latent defects are ones that you cannot see. And in most cases, we can prove that those defects, latent defects, existed. And then there's recourse against the seller. It might mean litigation. But often you find that once you've had a professional report done by an inspector, that the seller will actually acknowledge the fact that he hasn't made full disclosure, or he might say that he didn't know about the defects, but he's then obliged morally and ethically to actually do something about it and offer to at least pay part of it or all of the all of the repairs.
Now, in essence, you're not saying to that purchaser, don't buy the home. You're basically saying, know what you're buying.
Absolutely. We don't want the buyer to actually walk away from the house because of our report. That's not the issue at all. We want the buyer to be informed. Even if you find things wrong, people still want to buy that house because they know that they can fix it. And also the other thing too, we give them a time frame. We'll say, look, there's nothing earth-shattering with this house. The roof does need some attention, but this can be done over the next 2 or 3 years. We're not alarmist in our reporting, and that's the important thing. And so the buyer has the peace of mind.
So Eric, what advice do you have for real estate agents to include home inspections as part of the offering to the seller?
I think estate agents with this new act will have to change their way of thinking and incorporate it into the sale procedure. I think importantly, they need to advise the seller that they need to actually have the house checked out for their peace of mind, for the estate agent's peace of mind, and also for the sellers, because beforehand it was always that the buyer had the inspection done and then the buyer used the report to try and bring the price down. If the estate agent incorporates an inspection report into the sale agreement, it will only benefit all parties.
Because the seller's covered, the estate agent is covered, and the purchaser knows exactly what he's buying.
100%.
Now, Eric, you are the CEO of Inspector Home. Tell us about your offering.
Inspector Home have been operating since 1985 in South Africa. Essentially, we do pre-purchase inspections. This is when you're buying an existing house. But we also big into building disputes. It's very difficult today to have a house built without having hassles with your builder. The house is not being built to good standards. Also, when it comes to house nearing completion, we do snagging and de-snagging. Now, often you find the clients try to do this themselves, but they're not qualified to do that. It's much better to call in a professional company to snag and de-snag, because we'll find a lot of things that the people would not find on their own. So that's important. We also do rental inspections, we do warehouse inspections, and we do a multitude of different types of inspections depending upon requests. So we have quite a big portfolio and we can offer clients.
And tell me, Eric, are there still franchisee opportunities with Inspector Home?
Absolutely. We do have franchises available in various parts of the country. Specifically, we need in the Free State and we need in Mpumalanga, Cape Town. We also need KwaZulu-Natal. So there's a definite need for more franchise holders, yeah.
Well, Eric, lovely chatting to you. Very insightful. Thank you very much.
It's been great. Thanks, Cornelius.